Yeah, I think they should do it. Yeah, got it. Hey, so yeah, I think that for the YouTube is up and we're live. Yeah, so just wanted to be sure everyone is so hello again. Hello for those joining us from YouTube and those joining us from the Zoom channel. If you're joining us today from anywhere in Africa or in the world. So welcome to you all. My name is Benedict Nemeka Ude. This is the 12th edition. 12th edition in the sense that we're gone for a year. This is our 1 year celebration anniversary. So, I mean, thumbs up to everyone. I will talk more about our 1 year celebration and what we have in stock for everyone tomorrow. But for today, we'll just want to take a look at today's topic, which is basically unlocking the powers of Phabricator. So for those just joining us for the very, very first time, this is Wiki Mentor Africa, which is a program that seeks to bring in more Africans into the technological world of Wikimedia. And the way we do this is through what we call mentorship, which is by pairing participants and individuals with people who are experienced in a particular technical field. So we'll be talking more about, like I said, our celebration, our 1 year anniversary. We'll be talking more about that tomorrow. We have a lot to share about that. So tomorrow we'll just be focused on that. As for today, like I said, we want to focus on learning something like picking up Phabricator and nobody else but our very own. Before I introduce him, just so I'm sure everybody is prepared for today. First off, as usual, we're going to be giving off again, for those who are just joining us for the first time, we usually give out data reimbursements because we understand that data is quite expensive in Africa, and we want to make learning such an easy thing for you to join, regardless of how much you have in your pocket. So be rest assured, if you join this program, you stay to the end, you watch either from YouTube or from Zoom, and then, yeah, basically you follow through the discussion, understand what's happening, you will be getting your data reimbursement if you so wish. And so in terms of the data reimbursement, we'll be asking, you get a data reimbursement form, we'll be asking you some few questions particularly about today's session, and maybe one or two about tomorrow session, but the major focus will be on today's session. So we want to see how much you've learned, if you deserve to actually get the data reimbursement, which is meant to aid your learning. So if you answered the question, any of the question wrongly, and for this particular session, because it's our 12th anniversary, we are tempted to have 12 questions, but we will not fall to the temptation. We'll just have like a couple of questions. We usually have just 2 questions, easy questions, but because this is such a significant event for us, we'll have more than 2 questions. We'll have minimum of 4 questions, and usually we have easy questions, but I'm not so sure these questions will be easy. So if you do not attend, pay attention to any of what our guest rather, is going to be saying throughout this event, then I'm afraid you might end up not getting the data reimbursement. But also, it's also good to note that in as much as the data reimbursement is we're going to be asking those questions, as long as you pay attention, and you're going to get it. One good thing is that at the end of this session, you can always rewatch the video on our YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know our YouTube channel, I'll be sharing it as the session goes on. Also, if you have any questions, those joining from YouTube, feel free to use the YouTube comment section and just drop the question there. I'll be watching from there also, so I'll immediately read the question out, so our guests will be able to answer it. As well as those joining from Zoom, you can also drop your questions via the chat. If you feel like you want to say your question out loud, remember you can always use the raise the hand icon, so you can raise your hand and then we'll let you have the floor. Any other thing that might come up? I think lastly, the major thing, We also observe friendly space policy here, just like on all our platforms. The friendly space policy is very, very, very important to us. So which is, if you don't know what the policy is about, in summary, just be nice, treat everyone like you would love to be treated. Be nicer even. So without further ado, I want to say a very big welcome. Sorry, I've taken so much time doing this. So I want to say welcome to our very own Mohammed Sadat. Mohammed Sadat is coming with a wealth of experience. He has so much he wants to show us. I'm not sure I will be able to do justice in trying to introduce who he is. I'm not worthy to introduce him. So I'll just let him come in here, and he's going to be taking us on Phabricator. So we'll get to learn about what Phabricator is, and then see how to use Phabricator. It's going to take us for just today, so pay attention. There is no repeat for tomorrow, so pay attention today. He's going to be taking us over for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours. So please pay attention. Then there is a session tomorrow, which is a separate session, just our celebration of our 12th year anniversary. Do not forget that. But for today, it's just please pay attention to our very own Mohammed. Mohammed, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. It's so excited. I think I attended the very first two sessions of Wiki
Yeah.
Mentor Africa, and then I disappeared for a while. But I'm happy to be back again.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and it's I hope everyone is having a good day so far, and I'm really excited that we're having this session. So without much ado, should I share my screen?
Of course, feel free. The floor is yours.
Okay. Zoom is always a bit tricky. Let's see how that works. Share screen. Is it an entire screen or is it a window? Perhaps an entire screen. Okay, let's try that. So let me know if you're able to see my screen. And let me know which slide you're actually looking at, because I have my Zoom thing in one screen and my presentation on another.
We're actually looking at your Zoom.
Okay, so let me move this screen here. But then how will I read the comments?
Yeah, don't
Maybe
worry.
you could
I
read
will
the
read the
comments for me,
comments for
right?
you. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm
So
no longer
we can actually
here.
see the introduction to Phabricator. The slide, yeah.
Perfect. Nice. So I'm Mohammed, as Benedict already said. I've been involved with the Wikimedia projects as a volunteer for the past 12 years now, since 2011. I'm from Ghana, but I'm based in Germany. And I'm working with Wikimedia Deutschland as the Community Communications Manager for Wikidata. I'm sure many of you know that Wikidata is being developed at Wikimedia Deutschland since 2012. So a little bit about my work. As the Community Communications Manager, I represent the voice of the Wikidata community in the software department. So this means I work hand in hand with the software departments to relay feedback between our online communities. That includes and the various community volunteers and our product managers, the developers, the UX team, and our partnerships team. In so doing, I help to foster a cycle of feedback between Wikidata users and the software development team at Wikimedia Deutschland. So Phabricator is the official development collaboration tool that the Wikimedia movement uses. And as it stands, we 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 currently don't see a lot of engagement from African users on Phabricator, and this could be due to so many reasons. But maybe people are just not aware of Phabricator, or they don't know how to use it, or something else. Whatever the reason is, we would love to hear your voices about the software that we develop for you. And so my goal for this session is really to give you a very basic intro to Phabricator and to show you some of the ways in which you can use Phabricator to engage with the Wikidata software development team. For example, ideally, these skills can be used generally on Phabricator for everything and not just restricted to the communication with the Wikidata community development team. So you can use Phabricator for so much more than just requesting fancy new tools or features on Wikidata. Before I move forward, I just want to get a sense of people in this group who are already familiar with Phabricator or not very familiar with Phabricator. So let's say people who are very familiar with Phabricator, if you could just type in the chat 5, and people who are not at all familiar with Phabricator, never heard of it, never said it, you can type 1, and in between 2, 3, 4, so we can just get a little sense of who is here, and then we can adapt to it. Okay.
So we have a lot of ones already.
Okay. That's interesting.
And 1, 3 so far.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of ones. So yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, sorry. So that those on joining us from YouTube, you please also remember you can also join by you can also use the chat on YouTube, the comment section. We'll see it. So just use the comment section. Just so to show you that we see it, you can also use it just to introduce yourself and where you're joining us from, those on YouTube. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so when I start to speak fast, just tell me that I can slow down. So from what I heard, you said there were quite a number of 1s and then a few 3s. And do we have a 5 and a 4?
Yes, we have 1, 5, 2, 4 so far.
Cool. Nice.
So
okay.
The 5 is actually from Chidinma Chime.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, that's good. Thanks. So what I will try to do in this session is let's say we have 1.5 hours. I do understand that you usually have your sessions for 1 hour, so I apologize in advance. However, as this session is going to be recorded, you can always come back to it and watch it later if you have to drop off at some point. So for the agenda, I'll present a brief intro and explain some Phabricator terms. Then I'll show you how to get started by creating an account. And we'll talk about some use cases of, to create why like you would actually want to create a ticket for. And I'll show you some example tickets you can bookmark and then look at them, from whenever you need to create a similar ticket, you can just look at those. Then I'll walk you through how to create a ticket and what is expected to be in the ticket. Then we'll talk about how to create your own project, assuming you want to do that also. Then finally, we'll look at how to manage notifications in Phabricator. If you happen to be following so many tasks or projects, as we'll talk about later, you tend to get so many notifications. So there's a way to manage all of that. And a big disclaimer: I'm by no means an expert on Phabricator. I'm but a simple user, albeit with a bit of experience to share with you. So keep that at the back of your mind. Okay, so first of all, what is Phabricator? Phabricator is a web-based software development collaboration tool and code review platform. So it supports various stages of the software development process, such as project management and code hosting and review, continuous integration and deployment, and communication and collaboration among team members. Phabricator, obviously, is open source and it is used by several organizations and companies, not just Wikimedia, but Facebook uses Phabricator, Dropbox uses Phabricator, and some other very well-known companies. So in short, you can think of Phabricator as this really powerful tool for project management, collaboration, and communication. Of course, there are many alternatives to Phabricator, including GitLab and GitHub issues and so on. And once upon a time, WMF used something else but Phabricator. We used to use something called Bugzilla until 2014 when we migrated to Phabricator. So if you are interested to know some more about why that migration took place and why people thought it was a good idea to switch, I included a link here that you could follow and read more about it. Let me try and post that in the chats in a second. Okay. So I think there are many things to know in Phabricator, but for beginners, which is most of you, what you really need to understand are three key things. First of all, tasks or tickets. So you would hear me use tasks and tickets interchangeably. It it means the same thing. Each ticket has this unique URL and they come in this form where each ticket has this extension T with some numbers. In Phabricator, tickets or tasks are the individual items that represent a piece of work to be done, such as a bug to fix or a feature, to implement. They can be used to track the progress of projects and assign work to individual teams. And they can have various attributes such as different priority levels, statuses, and tags. And these can be used to help to organize and manage the work that is being done. Also, tasks can be linked to other tasks or projects, which allows us to create a network of related items. Then we have projects or tags. These are labels that can be attached to tickets, to categorize them or to provide some additional information. So they are used to help to organize and search for tasks and projects based on their properties or characteristics. So for example, tags can be used to indicate the priority of a particular task or to group different tasks that are related to a specific feature. And most importantly, tags can be customized, depending on the needs of the organization or the project or the team, and so on. And then we have users, which I think is quite obvious. The people who are using and using Phabricator. So users can be assigned to tickets or tasks to indicate who is responsible for implementing them. They can also comment. I mean, the users can comment on tickets and they can have different roles and permissions within the Phabricator instance. So who can use Phabricator? You might be wondering. So technically interested people, developers, product managers, testers, people doing communication like myself, could be documentation writers like Dan, whom you heard from in your last session. It could be event organizers, editathon organizers. Practically everyone within the movement can use Phabricator for their needs. And who is actually using Phabricator? So the Wikidata development team, for example, is using Phabricator. The technical wishes team at Wikimedia Deutschland as well is using Phabricator. The site reliability team at the foundation, we have individuals who are building tools like Provels or page views on ToolForge. We could have Wikimedia chapters or user groups, using Phabricator for their own projects. We could have, like I mentioned, editathon organizers who can use Phabricator to request removing the user account creation limit and stuff like that. And then as well, if you have your own project that you have created, you can also use Phabricator to organize and manage it. And then, of course, event organizers can use Phabricator to track, the different tasks and just to help them to organize things. So getting started on Phabricator, I'm pretty sure most of you would have seen the landing page of Phabricator already. I will just post a link here in the chat in a second. But if you are looking at it now, you first of all, of course, have to log in to use Phabricator. Unlike the wiki pages where you can decide to not log in and edit, in Phabricator, you do have to log in. And you can log in with a MediaWiki account, and you can also log in with a developer account. The developer accounts are different from the MediaWiki accounts. I hope you know that. So they provide access to, the developer accounts. They give you some kind of added advantages, like they provide access to a number of resources for making technical contributions, such as committing code to Wikimedia's Git repositories, or joining ToolForge to run bots and stuff like that. So once you are logged in, this is what you would see. You are presented with the project management tools, which is the tasks and bugs, projects and tags that we talked about earlier. You are also presented with some code tools. So I'm looking at the left pane, and there are also some tools for collaboration, some search tools. There's a dashboard, and at the top right, you can go in and look at your profile, and you can already see some activities that are currently ongoing.
Sorry, Mohammed. Can you zoom your laptop?
Okay, let me try that.
Zoom your screen, I mean to say.
Yeah. Is it better now? I think it's not changing. Is it because I'm presenting?
Still the same?
Still the same?
Yeah.
How about now?
No. No. Yeah, a little better. Just increase it a little again.
Okay, let's try. It says 500% now. Still too small. Oops.
Oh, it just changed once.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's so big.
Let me try that again.
Oh, okay.
Oops. Just a second. Okay, let me know if it's better now. Oh, I'm not presenting.
Yeah, you're not.
How is it now?
Still loading here, so it's not showing yet.
Okay, let's see.
I'm not seeing anything. Well, we could just see here. It's oh yeah, it just came up now. I think it's still the same.
Oh
The
no.
same. Yeah, but I don't know if
Uh,
it's just me. Let me please, if any other person is having issues seeing it, then oh, okay, yeah, a couple of
Someone
some
says
folks they
you
can't
can
see
see
it.
it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
blank.
no the for the blurry on, I think it's probably the network, but it's a little bit tiny. I could
Uh,
imagine those using their mobile phone, so that's why I'm saying you could
yeah.
if you could
Um.
stream.
Let me try this again. Mhm. Okay, let's see. I'm going to open it in Firefox. Maybe that would be better. Okay, let's see. And now, is it still too tiny?
Oh, I was
Hello?
talking. I didn't know I was muted. If you could just please put it in like a presentation mode, so maybe we could see just the because now we
Okay.
could see the yeah.
How about if I try
Yeah,
sharing the
what?
slide with you, then you can present from your end?
Okay. If yeah, but just click on show slide. Let's see what's that. If that would zoom it a little.
Okay, show slide.
I think yeah, I think this looks a little bit better.
It's still too tiny, right?
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, yeah, it's still tiny. Yeah,
Let
this
me
is
share
better.
this. This is better?
Okay, you could share the slide. Let me try presenting from here.
Okay. Then maybe others could also just follow the slides.
Yeah.
If it's too small, I'll put it in the chat here.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll stop sharing, right? And then you can try from your end.
All right, no problem.
Okay, let's
Um,
see.
before I even try, let me be sure I can zoom it myself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can zoom it myself here. Oof. I think it's the same thing. Maybe just go. I'm trying to zoom it from my end and I'm having the same issues.
Okay. So what should I do? Should I continue
Just go
flowing
ahead.
with
Yeah,
the
just go
slide?
ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Share screen.
So for those using mobile phones, just zoom it on your screen. I think those using their laptops, you're fine. You can see it clearly. But for those using their mobile phone, please try just zoom your screen to see it.
Okay, sharing the entire screen.
Again, Mohammed, sorry for breaking transmission. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it's. I hope people are able to see at least.
Yeah. For those on laptop, we could see just fine. Well, my concern is actually those on their mobile phones.
Yeah.
So I believe they could zoom it and they will be able to see fine.
Okay. Okay.
You're not sharing your screen, just a reminder.
Oh, sorry. Let me know if it's sharing now.
Yes, it
And if
is.
the slides are changing as I'm clicking.
Yes, it is. It is. It is
It's
changing.
changing.
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Cool. So I hope you can see at least some of the things, but if you can't see too well, try pinching your phone and zooming in a little bit. So you can also look at your profile at the top right when you go on the landing page in Phabricator and you log in. You can, once you're on the profile page, you can see, your recent feed, and you can see recent activity as well. So now there are tickets are created for various reasons. Three common use cases that we could talk about are if you want to use Phabricator to track activity, so like creating tasks to keep track of work progress and assigning work to team members. Or if you want to create a Phabricator ticket to report a bug. So a bug is a problem that is producing incorrect or unexpected results in a software. Or if you want to use Phabricator to request that a new feature be developed on Wikidata, for example, or on some other project on Wikipedia. So basically, a feature request is an idea that you think a development team could add to the MediaWiki software to make it, even more awesome. You can use Phabricator for that as well. I hope you can see this, but here is an example activity tracking tickets that I created some time ago. This is simply a ticket I created to track some activities that we were doing in the Dagbani Wikimedians group, and we wanted to clean up. We had several mailing lists, we had duplicates, and we had them on different platforms. So we wanted to create an activity with responsibilities for some of the team members to actually clean up this mess that we had. I'll add a link to it here, and you can take a look and see what the ticket looks like. So basically, the ticket was there were duplicates, and we needed some people to look at the duplicate and make decisions as to which ones should be merged. And then after they made those decisions, they had to decide which ones need to be deleted. And then we also needed people to do mailing list moderation and the process of putting up a request as an email and asking for volunteers. So as you can see, this is not a development task, but it's just a list of activities that we really needed a way to track. And Phabricator was a tool that we use for this. If you look at the description for this ticket that I just shared with you, you would see that the description, the markup that produced that outcome, it's practically, most of it looks very similar to the MediaWiki markup, but with some slight changes. So in order to be able to see this this markup, you just have to click on edit, and then you'll be able to see what the markup looks like. Now, this is an actual software-related example bug reports. And if you can see it on the screen as well. So this was a bug report that I created to improve a gadget called special merge items for qualified and non-qualified IDs. So this ticket ideally had a user story, the user story being a typical user who is asking for this bug to be fixed. And they described the problem and they produced various steps in which this problem could be replicated, provided an example of it, and then what they expected to happen that actually didn't happen. That made it a bug. This other example, so I will just share a link to the previous example here. Now, this next example is a feature request that was meant to show the deleting admin a warning message about which wikis subscribe to this entity. So we had this issue where admins, the tools that they had when they were deleting entities just wasn't working properly. And this feature request was put in to make an improvement to that. And this next example is also a feature request to add the Gungbe language to monolingual codes. This is a language spoken in Cameroon, I think. And at that time, before this ticket was created and worked on, you could not add labels and descriptions in this language on Wikidata. And then this language wasn't also available for lexemes. So this ticket was created to handle that. So how do you create a ticket? If you have a bug to report, or if you have a feature request to make, or if you have an activity you want to organize, you first of all head to Phabricator.wikimedia.org, and then under the project management where it says tasks and bugs, you click there. And then on the right side, you would see create tasks. You click on that. Always make sure to search to see if this ticket that you want to create doesn't already exist. As we already know on Wikipedia, on Wikidata, you are creating an article. You want to make sure you are not duplicating an already existing article. So just make sure that you have searched and this problem you want to take to the developers, for example, isn't existing already before you go ahead and then create it. So once you click on create, you would be presented with a list of templates. You can use any of these templates if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not very sure, you can simply just use the new generic task form. It opens up and then you can fill it in. So for Wikidata, we created templates to make it easy to help you to report bugs, for example. So we have this template I'm sharing in the chat as well, where you can use to create a ticket to report a bug. It has some pre-filled fields already, so you just have to enter some text in the descriptions. And you would see things like problem, lists of steps to reproduce, and then what happens, what should have happened instead. You can provide an example. You can give us more details about, about your browser and the system that you are using, and so many other things that you could add. There's a behavior-driven development section, which is optional. This is really for people who really know what they are doing. If you don't, you can just delete that part and go ahead and create the ticket. So as always, when you have finished writing up your description, try to make sure that you add me or Lydia as subscribers, so we get to see the ticket. We get to know that it exists. For other projects or for other teams, maybe you are reporting a bug related to commons, you would have to find the people who are responsible for that and then add them as subscribers so that they can see it. And also don't forget to include the tag for the issue that you are reporting, which could be related to Wikidata. If it's If it is, you just add the Wikidata tag in the tag section. If it's commons or if it's something else, you could add a tag there so that the people who are working on those projects, once that tag has been included, they will be notified and then they can see that a ticket has been created that relates to something that they are working on. And a project, as I mentioned earlier, is a group of related tasks or tickets which can be used to organize work and track progress. So projects can have their own set of collaborators, tags, and other properties, and can be associated with like specific repositories or code bases. So if you have a project that you want to use Phabricator to organize around, you can create your own project. Unfortunately, only admins are allowed to create projects. So you would actually have to create a task and tag an admin, and then they would create the project for you. But once they do that, you get notified, and then you can begin using your project to organize your subtasks. And you can even create forms, forms that are pre-filled. So you can do that as well. Admins can help you do that. You just have to create a task, asking an admin, and then they can create a form for you with pre-filled fields. So this is an example of a project that I requested some time ago to create a Dagbani sites board. And the goal of that board was to organize the tickets that are directly affecting Wikimedia sites in Dagbani language. So a description as simple as, hey, I would like to request that a project be created for Dagbani sites to be used to tag and manage issues related to the Dagbani family of languages. Once you write that description, you can tag the project admins, and then they can create that for you. They would ask some questions, but eventually, if it makes sense for them to create, they would do that. I'll add a link to the chat so you can follow that as well. So we've looked at tickets or tasks. We've looked at tags. We've looked at projects. And we are now going to talk a little bit about work boards. So a project would have this work board, which you can use to organize all of your activities related to that particular project. So the work board for a project gives an overview of a set of tasks that are related to the project. So this example I'm showing you in the screen is that of the Wikidata board. I'll add a link here in the chat so you can take a look at it as well. As you can see, we are able to see all of the incoming tasks or tickets that have just been created, and then tickets that need some more discussions, tickets that are ready to go, tickets that would be considered in the next sprint for us to work on, and things like that. Okay. Now, once you start following different tasks or tickets or even projects, you would be receiving notifications about them either via email or just via Phabricator within Phabricator itself. So if you look at the top left corner, the top left side, where the arrow is pointing, you can see the bell there. That is where you'll see your notifications in Phabricator once you are logged in. And you can also opt in to receive notifications in your email via your preferences settings. And you can subscribe to notifications of a project. You can do that by simply going to any project in this case, the Wikidata project. Then you can click on watch project. Then you'll be subscribed and then receive notifications regarding all the activities that are related to this project, Wikidata. You can also subscribe to individual tasks or tickets, not just the entire term, but if you just want to follow a particular task or a ticket within a project, you can do that as well by clicking on the subscribe, and you can unsubscribe anytime as well. And the thing about Phabricator is just like on the wikis, every activity you do is logged. So if you subscribe, you'll see an indication on the ticket that so and so user has subscribed. Once you unsubscribe, you see a notification. You see the description there as well. This person, this user has unsubscribed, and so on. These are the main functions that would be relevant for beginners to know, I think. There are a few tips and tricks. One of them is to use the advanced search to filter for more options when you are searching for tickets. This is very relevant because sometimes the description that people give in a ticket or the title of a ticket doesn't convey what they actually mean in the description, and they don't match. So you would have to, you would need to have some level of experience to know which keywords to use and which projects to tag. I mean, which tags and which projects this particular issue might be related to. So if you open up the advanced search function, you get a lot of options to manipulate your search query to give you better results, hopefully. And you can also change the UI of your Phabricator language if you want to, if English is not your first language or your language of communication. You can do that by going to your settings account and then changing the language and uploading files. This is important because when we are describing an issue or a problem, it's sometimes very helpful if you provide some images of like what is going on, so people who are going to work on it would have a better understanding of where you are referring to and what is happening and what you want them to do. So you can upload files by going to phabricator.org/file, or my secret little trick is to simply drag and drop a file you have when you are on the Phabricator main page. Once you do that, it just starts to upload the file, and then you can add a description to it and then use it in any ticket that you want to create. And with that, that was my not so brief intro to Phabricator. I would love for us to have a discussion. I can share my, just show my screen and do some live demos if you want us to discuss something in depth, or if you just have general questions you want us to talk about. This is the time for us to do that. Benedict.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. Yeah, already I could see on the chat someone just said, so you are more like I think this was by Charles. He was asking if you're more like a customer service agent who organize and evaluates complaints or feedback tickets made by clients. Yeah, so
Yeah, that is another description of what we do as community communication managers. We are more like, service provider agents sitting with a phone, unfortunately not a phone, but on the wiki pages and Phabricator, and listening to what people have. And yeah, so generally, when people have issues, we encourage you to create the tickets yourself. and we can always improve those tickets if there is more clarification needed, or if it's missing something, we can improve it for our engineers who are going to be working on it. But if for some reason you don't want to engage with Phabricator at all, you don't want to do anything with Phabricator, that's also not a problem. You just let us know on the wiki pages, and then we can translate your issue or your problem or your complaints into a ticket. But ideally, at the end of the day, there has to be a ticket before it can be picked up by the engineers.
Okay, thank you so much for that again. It's also important to point out that Phabricator is not just like Mohammed said during the course of his presentation, Phabricator is not just for communicators, it's also for everyone could use Phabricator. I mean, project managers and the different folks, even organizers like you that organize editathons.
Indeed.
Yeah, you could use Phabricator. Yeah, Mohammed, I was curious to, or maybe my question would be like, in what way could you talk more about using Phabricator as a collaborative tool?
Yes, so one use case I can think of right now is, let's say you are organizing an event. The last wiki Indaba that we went to, for example. I really don't know what tools people are using to collaborate and organize themselves around such big, programs like that. But I would, if I were the organizer of such a conference and I want to use a wiki tool instead of, some paid Asana or something else, you can easily use Phabricator. You can create you can you can you can let like all of the team members who are going to be organizing the event, they can come together. You can brainstorm what each team member has to do, so from, let's say, whoever is taking care of catering, whoever is taking care of transportation, whoever is taking care of scholarships. There could be 1,001 sub different tasks that all of these different teams would have to do, and then they list everything on the Phabricator. Everyone can see where each task is, and then as and when you begin chipping off and accomplishing these subtasks, you can add a check mark to it. So let's say scholarship evaluation, that could be one, subtask, and then there could be submissions actually before that. So submissions, evaluations, and then decisions. These are three different tasks that the people in the what do you call it, in the
Scholarship
scholarship
groups. Yeah.
group, would be doing. So once they finish one task, they just check it off. Everyone sees that is complete. They can move on to the next one. So something like this, I see, could be organized using Phabricator. In fact, I have used Phabricator when I used to be very active in my local projects, the Dagbani language Wikipedia, which I founded some time ago. Most of the activities that we were doing as team members was organized on Phabricator, and it was really cool just using that for it. Yeah. Are there any questions?
Okay. No questions so far. I also want to point out to the participants here that with those on the YouTube on our YouTube, watching from YouTube, and those on Zoom, please feel free to ask your questions. Remember, for those who are interested in also getting the data reimbursement, the questions will not be easy. So if you don't understand anything about what Mohammed has said so far, please ask now. The questions are going to be really, really, really tricky and tough. So please ask your questions if you don't understand anything he has said so far. And also, if there's something you are looking forward to asking and as regards to Phabricator, and probably Mohammed has not touched it yet or didn't say anything about it yet, please also ask. If you feel like asking, for those on Zoom, if you feel like asking the questions using your mic, feel free to indicate by raising your hand using the raise hand icon, and we'll let you have the floor. So again,
I was looking at the chats and I saw, I think there was one question about, does one need the knowledge of any programming language before you can have developer, or am I reading the correct? Before you can be developer or work on any projects on Phabricator? Not necessarily. I mean, if you are using Phabricator to make a bug request, for example, to report an issue you are having with your Wikipedia, you don't have to be a developer or know any programming language. If you are an event organizer, for example, and you are using Phabricator to organize yourself, you don't need any skills of programming language. So the simple answer is no. There is, however, in the markup. So by the markup, I mean the how do you describe this? So the description or this is not code, but let's call it code for now, but the code that you use to generate the description. So this description, if you can see my screen that I'm looking at, all of this with the bullet points was generated using these. So just as you know from Wikipedia, you do a bullet points by using this asterisk, and then you include a file by just labeling using the file name, and then you can change the size of the file to full, and you put it in this bracket. So just little markup like this, as we already know on Wikipedia, but these are not really developer related.
thank you. Someone is asking here, how does Phabricator affect Wikimedia?
Okay, if I understand correctly, how does it affect Wikimedia? What does it mean? Maybe accurate if you could. Oh, was it rather?
It was accurate. Accurate was the one who asked,
yeah. Could you explain a little what you mean by affect Wikimedia? Okay, maybe accurate is muted. But I really don't understand your question properly, so I'm not going to try to answer it. But do you know what they mean, Benedict?
Yeah, accurate. You can unmute yourself now and ask your question. I'm not sure myself if I understand. Yeah, go ahead, accurate.
Yes, I am just the questions actually entails like in what part of Wikimedia do we need to use Phabricator? Like what happens that we have to go to Phabricator instead of Phabricator? That's exactly what I'm.
Oh, okay. I think I get it. So I think you mean like why would anyone have to go and use Phabricator and for what? There are so many reasons that you can use Phabricator, but the three key ones are you can have a need to use Phabricator because you have seen a problem in your Wikipedia, for example, and then you want the developers at the foundation to know about this problem and then fix it. So in that case, you are reporting a bug or a problem on your Wikipedia, for example. You could also be using Phabricator to actually not be reporting a problem, but to actually be requesting that a new feature be developed or some aspect of your projects on Wikipedia or Wikidata be improved. It could be anything. It could be maybe you want the foundation to develop a gadget that makes it easier for you to be able to type in your native language. That is a feature that the foundation could consider, and then you would have to put that in the ticket and then tag the right people at the foundation so they can look at it and evaluate it and make a decision to work on that feature or not. Or you could also have a need to use Phabricator to simply track some activity. Maybe you are organizing an editathon, and then you need to have a list of people given IP exempt user rights. So on the day of the editathon, you don't struggle. You can use Phabricator to put in a request to an admin on Wikipedia, and then they can work on it. So you are basically just using the ticket to organize your editathon so it runs smoothly. Yeah, these are some use cases where you can use Phabricator to make life easy for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that. I think you answered that beautifully. The next question I could see here is from Victor. He said that I saw the projection that Phabricator is only open to Wikimedia contributors. What does it take to be a contributor in Wikimedia? This is first off. Let me try and rephrase this question by asking you: is Phabricator does it only allow users who are contributors of Wikimedia?
Okay, so think of it this way. MediaWiki. So let's forget about Phabricator for now, okay? Think of MediaWiki as a software. Now, the software is available for everyone in the world to use. So we do know that it's not just within the Wikimedia movement that we use the MediaWiki software. We know that some teams in NASA they have a MediaWiki installation that they use to organize their information. When I used to work at the university in Ghana, we had a MediaWiki installation for the department. So we had a MediaWiki instance that we used to organize the files at the university. So Phabricator is an open source tool. It's available to everyone to use. However, different instances have control over their own, Phabricator installations. So for each Phabricator installation, they would only allow users or people who can create accounts to be able to use it. So in our case, in the Wikimedia movement, Phabricator is only available to people who have a MediaWiki account, which they can use to log in, or they have a developer account, which they can also use to log in. So like I said, the MediaWiki accounts, that is the Wikipedia or Wikidata or the unified account that we have for the Wikimedia project, is different from the developer account in the sense that the developer account gives you added advantages to be able to create bots and run tools on ToolForge, for example.
Hey, so just going off from that, I was wondering, what does it take to have a developer's account?
To have a developer account, you simply have to request it. You can do that by, pull up a link if I can find it in a second. I think that's in the very last part of the slide. Oh. No, probably somewhere earlier. I'll send a link in the chat for people to take a look at if they want to create a developer account.
Okay, while you're searching for that, maybe you could answer these questions. Someone is asking if Phabricator is free or if you have to pay for it.
Okay, so this is the link to the developer account. If you click on it, it says Wikimedia developer account. So, oops, I'm not sharing my screen. Just a sec.
You are sharing your screen. Oh, okay.
So this is where it says create a developer account. So if you don't have one already, you can simply sign up for a MediaWiki developer account, which allows you to use cloud services or, Wikimedia's Git repository and things like that. There was this question that I skipped, right? If you could repeat that again for me.
So the question is, Phabricator, is it free for everyone to use, or do you have to pay for it?
Phabricator is free, free as free as the air that we breathe. Once, if so, like I said, Facebook uses Phabricator. Their development team uses Phabricator. Dropbox uses Phabricator. Wikimedia uses Phabricator. So you simply, if you want to install Phabricator, just like we have a MediaWiki installations, you need a slight amount of technical know-how to be able to do that. But you can install that for your institution, and you just download that and then you set it up. So yeah, it's totally free. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to pay for you can use Phabricator instead of paying for Asana, for example, or for Jira, or any of those those tools that cost a lot of money.
Yeah. I was about asking actually the comparison between Phabricator and Asana. Like, what's the difference?
Well, I
guess one of the difference could be one is free.
Exactly, one is free, and one is just so wiki oriented. Phabricator is just so wiki oriented. You see everything. You see revisions of a ticket. You see who has commented. You see everything. It's the wiki way, and it's very close to what we already are used to.
Okay, so another question that I can see on the chat is someone is asking if there is a special app for Phabricator on the Google Play Store or for iOS users. I guess what this person is asking is if there is a mobile app for Phabricator. Are you aware if there's any mobile app for Phabricator?
No, there's only a web application for Phabricator. They don't have an app, but they do have a pretty visually appealing mobile view. If you open Phabricator on your phone, it looks pretty good. It's just not an app, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Another question by Charles. is Charles is asking what happens when you don't know the right people to tag, or what to do, or what do you do rather? I mean, he's asking basically if you have a bug that you want to report, but you don't know who exactly to tag, what do you reckon that person
Yeah,
does?
that that's a very good question. I used to encounter that problem a lot, and anytime I created a ticket, you'd always find this. I didn't know them by then. There's a there's a person at the foundation who is responsible for like managing Phabricator. He's called Andre Clapper. So you've heard of him.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how he probably has an interface that he sits down and look at, but you create a ticket that is not very well defined or hasn't got the right tags or hasn't got tags, he would come on the ticket and actually help you out or ask for more information. I think that is just his job. But of course, there are hundreds of thousands of, I mean, tens of thousands of users. Some of them are also just patrolling Phabricator and trying to organize things. There's also this bug reporter, which is which is which is which is a bot that runs on Phabricator and also tries to improve things on Phabricator. But um, there's a lot of help if you don't know the right people to tag. Sometimes just tagging even someone who is probably not the right person is a better idea, so that they would go like, okay, no, I'm not the right person, but I know who should be tagged for this particular issue.
Okay, Charles, I hope you got that. I think that was a very, very good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is another question by James. James is asking, can you embed code in a ticket? Can you have code embedded in a ticket?
Yes, you can absolutely do that. I wish I had a ticket handy to share. Let me see if I can. So simple question is you can do that. I just don't have a ticket ready here that has some code in it that I could show you. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So James, maybe okay. Is it possible for you to just share the ticket on the Telegram group? If you think about it, if you're able to find
Yes,
the
I can
ticket, yeah.
definitely find a ticket for you. Actually, Lucas writes a lot of tickets that has code in it. Search Lucas's recent activities.
Oh, you can also look at someone's activities that you know and see
Yeah,
what. Yeah.
you can just look at their user, and so this is an example of a Python code that um,
Okay.
Lucas is doing. I'm not an expert in Python, so I don't know what this means for most of them, but yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to see if there's. Okay, there is. I think there are a couple of other questions. Some are repeats of the question asked already.
Previous ones, okay.
Yeah, someone is asking if you need to know how to write program, which you've answered first. If you miss any of this, someone is also asking if this video is recorded. Yes, this video is streamed live on YouTube. And so one of the advantages you get for this is that it's streamed live on YouTube and it's also recorded live on YouTube. So even when we end this session, you can always go back and revisit, watch the video, and yeah, you get to understand everything that he has said. And if you have any more questions that you're not opportune to ask during the course of this call, you can always ask the question on the Telegram group. For those who are not on the Telegram group, let me see if I could just post the Telegram link here. So this is the Telegram link for those on the, yeah. So for those on the, for those on the Zoom platform, the Telegram link is being posted on the chat. So let me do the same for those on YouTube. So yes. Okay, so let me see if there is any other question for you before we go.
I see I think someone
Okay,
was
so
asking what Phabricator is about. Probably they could look
yeah,
at the video from the beginning. Maybe they joined late.
they joined late, I guess.
Oh, someone wants to look at the code. Sorry, I can just go back to it.
Yeah.
Where was that again? I think it was this one. Yeah, this one. Oh, I should scroll down to the end. Okay. This is the end of it. Show all 17 lines. Advantages and disadvantages of Phabricator. Advantages are that, I mean, we are very familiar with coming from the wiki world. Phabricator is a bit intuitive to most people, but also because it sometimes contains code. It's a bit people see that and they feel or they think it's something that only developers use, which is not the case. But I think just trying out different project management tools and making comparisons would really help. But the Wikimedia community really had a very long discussion about this before 2014 until they finally abandoned Bugzilla for Phabricator. And I'm sure it was for good reasons.
Yeah, I mean, one advantage, like you pointed out, could be that it's very, very much intuitive for someone who is coming from the wiki world. So you could easily plug and play if you're coming from the wiki world. I mean, the code basically there, like Mohammed rightly pointed out, you don't need to know how to program. And if you know how to write wiki text, that's an added advantage. But again, you still don't need to know how to program to be able to use Phabricator. So that's one advantage. Also, someone might argue a product like Asana, you don't also need to program to use Asana. So to counter that, Phabricator is also free. I mean, what beats that? That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
It is free.
Yeah, and because it's open source, we try as much as possible in the movement to not, engage big tech corporations who most likely are hoarding our data and using it for God knows what. Phabricator is open source. The code is
I guess
everyone to review.
I guess that answers it all. Like being open source, every advantage that comes with open source technology basically comes with Phabricator. So yeah, and likewise, the disadvantage is for someone who is coming from an enterprise point of view. The disadvantage that they might see with open source might also still apply to Phabricator.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if there's any question I've missed.
So I have a question for people.
Okay.
We started by doing a show of hands, people's experience about Phabricator. One being, this is something I've not heard of before. This is, and then 5 being people who have some experience with it. So now I would like to ask again using the same skill. 1 being, okay, this is something I would definitely not try or use or need. And 5 being, ah, this is interesting. I would I would I would look into it some more. Probably use it even more in the future. So let's see.
Oh, already we have a 5, and
Oh,
that's by Hannah. Yeah, feel free. Like Mohammed said, 5 being that, oh, this is Phabricator is interesting. I'm going to give it a try. It's something I'll use. 1 being, nah, Phabricator is not for me. I'm not going to try that. And then, of course, 2, 3, and the rest. So we could see a couple of 5. Then I guess Phabricator will get some usage this week.
Yeah, I do hope so.
Yeah, thank you, Mohammed, for this. I think you started off discussing about the low usage of Phabricator by Africans. Yeah, thank you, because I guess today you're going to be having lots and lots of people who are going to be using Phabricator. As I can see, 5. I've only seen
That's
1, 3,
amazing.
and the rest are just 5, 5,
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
So
And then there's 1, 1. I guess
okay.
the 1 simply means that they couldn't. It's not something they feel will be applicable to them,
Yeah.
or they probably didn't understand Phabricator so well. So we have just a couple of 1, and then the rest are just 5, 5, 3.
Cool. So for people who are excited about this, for starters, if you are involved in the hierarchy of your local user group, for example, you could start using Phabricator to organize yourselves, and I think that would be like a very low entry point for you, because it doesn't require anything else but just putting up list of tasks and check marks and things like that.
Quick one. What do you think of Wiki Mentor Africa in Phabricator?
Yeah, good question. Indeed, I think it would be awesome that we have a board at least,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can create some tasks with you, Benedict, and Tucci, and the team just using it to organize things.
Yeah.
It being visible means we can hold you guys to account for the timelines that you set for yourselves, and the expectations that we have of you. So
Yeah, I think we will do that. We will think about that and do that. We should be on Fabricator. I wonder why I've not created any. Yeah, I will definitely look into it. So this is a 5 for me too. So
cool.
yeah. So thank you so much, Mohammed. I don't know if you have any last thing for us before we'll let you go.
I really enjoyed presenting to you guys, and the questions were really thought-provoking, which is really good. Thanks so much, everyone, for attending, and thanks so much for listening. And I wish you guys all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mohammed. Mohammed is also one of the persons supporting us from the Wikimedia Dutchland end. So he is also a major factor that we are successful for this. Like I said, this is the 12th edition. But then again, thank you, Mohammed, for joining us, for leading us in today's journey, learning about Phabricator. I want to say a very big thank you. And for those who have been here from start to this point, I want to say thank you. For those just joining, I still want to thank you. But remember to catch up. You need to go back and revisit the video, which is on our YouTube channel. I posted a link. Let me see. I posted a link before, but I will be posting it again. Just posted a link to this video on YouTube. You can go back there and rewatch it. And yes, I think that is that for Phabricator. And please remember that I also said, for those who missed it, that we will be giving data reimbursement as we always do. For those who have spent time with us here live, watching this video. Remember, if you're not here live, maybe you watched this video like 5 years back and expect us to, we can't reimburse you. We're only reimbursing those who joined us live. And the data reimbursement form, for those who don't know the format, who are just joining us for the first time, we will be sharing a data reimbursement form. Sorry, Mohammed, please, can you, let me see if you could just stop sharing screen. Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you. So there will be also a data reimbursement form that will be shared on Telegram, on our Telegram group. So if you're not on the Telegram group, I shared the link before and I'll be sharing the link again. So you can go join the Telegram link. Let me see, just a second. So this is the Telegram link. Just posted it here. So join the Telegram. We will be saying this, and we'll be posting this data reimbursement form after tomorrow's event. So that's when we'll be posting the data reimbursement form. Please, key things to note about the data reimbursement. Like I said, one is that we're only reimbursing people who joined us live. Whether you're joining us from Zoom or you're joining us from YouTube, as long as you join us during the session, not 10 years after, during the session, you will be getting your data reimbursement if and only you get the questions that will be asked on the data reimbursement form. So there are going to be questions that will be asked on the data reimbursement form. And this question, usually we ask just 2 easy questions, but in the spirit of our celebration, as we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary, we'll be asking a minimum of 4 questions. And these 4 questions are not going to be so much easy, I must confess. But they are going to be easy if you attend today's event, not just attend. If you attended today's event and listened carefully, you're going to have no issue answering those questions. But if you did not listen properly, my advice to you is please go back to the YouTube and watch the video, revisit the video, watch it over and over again until you understand it. And when you understand it, before you fill the form. A quick note though is that we'll be putting a cap to the number of persons who we are going to be reimbursing, rather not a number of cap, but like a time frame in which that questions, the data reimbursement form is going to close. I'll be sharing more about that tomorrow. And also, like I said, the data reimbursement form will be shared on Telegram after tomorrow's session. Tomorrow, we are going to be having the second session of this, our 12th anniversary of this, our 12th edition. And the session we're going to be having tomorrow will focus on celebrating our 1-year anniversary, which is basically, we're going to be talking about and we have lots of gifts for you guys. By gifts, I mean for those who have been committed from day one. So we'll be talking more about what we have in stock for you. We'll also be having 1 or 2 gifts for our mentor of the year. We also have a couple of gifts for the mentees of the year. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow. Try not to miss it. But the focus for the data reimbursement, like I said, is going to be on today's event. We will likely just have 1 question from tomorrow's session, but like the major question is going to be from today's event. So if you do not understand anything, I advise you to go back to YouTube and watch the video. Try to understand everything that Mohammed has taught us. Even from the questions that were asked, try to listen and understand what Phabricator is all about. Who knows, in the question you might be asked, create a ticket. And so, yeah, having said all this, without wasting any of our time, I don't know if anybody has any question on as regards to what I've said so far. I don't know if anybody have any comments or observation. But because of time, I'm trying not to go beyond this. I would recommend that you ask your questions on the Telegram group, or just write them down tomorrow when we meet tomorrow. You can ask your question. And remember, tomorrow we're meeting the same time, the same venue. If we max out like we maxed out today, and by maxing out, I mean our Zoom capacity is only 100. So once we get to 100, those of you that tried today in joining Zoom, you'll notice that it's telling you that we've maxed out. So simply just move on to the YouTube. We're streaming these both on Zoom and YouTube. So anywhere you're joining us from, as long as you're joining us live, if you're worried about the data reimbursement, do not be worried. Do not, I mean, basically we've got you covered. As long as you listen, remember, and answer the questions correctly. So the 4 questions that will be asked, if you miss one, you're likely not going to get the data reimbursement. So try to answer all, which means it's going to be a tougher race. So I reckon we all do our best and revisit the video again. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Just in the spirit of our 12th-year anniversary, I would love to take a group photograph with those on the Zoom. So I'm going to be turn this off for those on YouTube. One last thing for those on YouTube and even those on Zoom, I would recommend that, basically please go to our YouTube page, promote our YouTube page by just subscribing, click on the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we have a new session coming up or a new video being posted. You can also like the video if you enjoyed today's session. If you did not enjoy today's session, please still like the video. What else? Go to YouTube, like, turn on the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. And please do not hoard knowledge. Try to share knowledge. So if you know anyone that this will be beneficial to, please share the video to them so they could watch and also learn. The sky is big enough for us. Okay, so I'll be ending this for those on YouTube. So those on YouTube, bye. See you later tomorrow.